So today we're going to be tapping some maple trees. It's our first time, so we're kind of figuring things out. You can go on to the internet and buy different tapping. You can buy thousands of dollars worth of tapping equipment, and we're hoping to not quite get that crazy, but we are trying to do things in a food grade manner. We don't want to, boil sap in things that are not food grade, and so we actually picked up these frosting containers for free. No, we didn't eat that much frosting, but we did pick up these containers, and then we have some water grade tubing, and then we also have these water tubing pieces. So these barb fittings fit inside, and then these tubing pieces will fit inside the bucket. So this is not a sponsor for any equipment, but what we're going to do here is we're going to find a spot on these buckets that when we set them outside, I don't really want to capture a lot of rain. It does rain a lot here. So underneath this lip, I'm going to just put a hole in there. And then we have a spot that we can stick our tubing in, and it's, kind of a tight fit. We'll clean out the debris that's inside there, of course, but what this is going to do for us is when it's sitting there, we're not going to get much, if at all, any water going into our bucket, but we can go up and we can get the tree. So we are going to go out and show you guys tapping the trees, but we're not going to put any kinks in here, but we don't have to worry about it really being airlocked. The sap will drain. I mean, a lot of times with the water you worry about airlocking, but we haven't found that as a situation. A lot of people will hang buckets and bugs and debris and rainwater and whatever gets into it, and they just kind of skim it off and boil it, and that's fine, but we're going to try to have sort of a closed system. So here we go. So we picked these up at the local hardware store, but we're going to go ahead and, like I say, you can get into this depending on your region. Our region isn't very conducive usually to getting sap, like maybe Vermont or something. But we do have a weather pattern coming in where we're going to have some warm days and freezing nights with some snow, and so that's why we're out here in Washington State going to try to go try this out. We will be looking at different economical types of tapping kits and that sort of thing that you can get on Amazon, and we'll put in any links to things that we find that work really well. But like I say, for right now we're going to go out there and give this a try. That in our syrup. We'll rinse that out. It's a little bit windy today, but here's one of the maples that we are going to try to tap. So we can see there's this big root that goes up through here. This is also the south side of the tree, so it'll get kind of warm. And then there's a lot of limbs, but there's some big limbs directly up above us, right? So what we want to do is we want to tap it right in this area, so to knock off some of the dirt stuff here. We're not really damaging the tree, but we're just trying to get into a dry spot that we can tap, right?
So it's best to tap on the south facing side and underneath a big branch, kind of where the sap veins run, if you will. And we want about 3 feet off the ground, so about this level, and about right here is going to be our first tap. So what we're going to do here is mark our drill bit about 2.5 inches in. That way we know how far to drill inside the tree. So we know how far to... Our goal is to get sap out of the tree, not harm it.
Right about here?
Yep.
So we're going to clean off just some of the moss. It's a little bit of the bark. Try to get it into a clean area. Now you don't want to tap it down too far, and you don't want to tap it in straight. You just want to have a little bit of a drop to it, so of course it comes out of the tree. We'll go ahead and drill a hole.
Also, you'll note that the shavings look nice and beige, so this is a healthy specimen.
All right, so now we'll go here, and we'll put that guy into the tree. So the other spot we're going to grab is right here. It's kind of on the top of this ridge, which means a lot of times that it's pulling stuff up to go up to the limbs that are up above. It's also on the south side. And we should be having a snowstorm here pretty soon, and cold temperatures, so that will help. And when we're done with these taps, we'll create some maple plugs and put in there just to make sure that we don't leave the tree vulnerable, or give it a place for bugs to get into. All right, so we'll get our little. These are usually called spiles, but in this case it's a NSF 60 water fitting. There you go. So here we have the tubing, and we're just going to go ahead and push that on. It doesn't have to be super tight, but it's good enough to create a seal. And then we'll go ahead and find a good spot this will like to be, and we'll clip it. Then we'll grab the tubing for the next tap here. Put him on, and then make sure that they're relatively close. And then for this guy, again, this doesn't hurt the trees at all, but sure tastes good.
It kind of looks like a bear with eyes.
Okay, so there we have it ready to go with 2 taps.
Okay.
So it's getting a little bit windy, but that's okay, it's winter time. So we'll go ahead and attach the other tube to this and make sure that it has a good gravity flow, everything going down. And then Andrew, why don't you come up here, and we'll shorten this tube up a little bit, but what we're going to do is stick it in the bucket, and we can set that guy down there on the flat, and won't fill the bucket up entirely overnight, but again, we'll put probably a rock or something on this guy to keep him there. But this is 3/8 tubing, and then the holes we're cutting in is 25/64, and then we have it's 1/4 inch interior diameter, so all the fittings are 1/4 inch inside, and then we actually stuck 3/8 because that's what was available in our holes. So we'll go ahead and let this go overnight, and we'll check it tomorrow. So one of the things that grows on a maple tree is called licorice root, and it's these little fern guys, and if you clean it off enough, and you probably want to wash this one because it's kind of dirty, but you can actually chew on this root and it'll taste like licorice. So if you wanted to clean that off, well, clean that off, and then you can just chew on it just a little bit.
I want one too. Wait, you just have to clean it off.
I'll clean yours off for you. Andrew, you want one?
Sure.
Okay. And you just chew on it. You don't swallow it. You just kind of suck on it a little bit. These littler ones are good. The bigger ones kind of are woody, obviously tasting.
Tell me what you think, James. Try it. Andrew?
Oh, try it again.
It's not licorice root. Okay. Here. Just chew it up and spit it out here. Okay, so one spot we're going to do is right here. Clean off a little bit of this bark. This is why we have to sometimes drill deeper. And we actually have another video of some other stuff that we haven't seen done before with tapping trees, and we'll be sharing that here in a couple weeks. But right now I need a couple of 3/8, please. So we'll stick this guy in here and set him right up there. And just in case, we'll put this on here to prevent maple syrup poachers. So here's some trees that we have. I know you don't know what direction this is, but south is behind me. So if we look up here, there is a little bit of sunlight that filters through these trees. There's actually some openings that come down, and you want the south side according to experts. And we have this one maple that has fallen over but is still alive, but we've got a couple of little guys that have grown up here, and we want to tap those and just see what the difference is tapping the little trees as opposed to the big ones. But a windstorm is picking up, and we're supposed to get a few inches of snow tonight, so we want to get this stuff done and get out of here so that we're not in any danger from limbs coming down and hitting us in the head. I have 1/4 inch that I'm doing on these smaller trees just because that's what I have, and we have 19/64 is the bit size, in case you guys are wondering what we're using here. Alright, and I've noticed that when tapping these, they can be a little bit dusty. These are some 1/4 turns. I probably will replace these little 90s. They were thought to be a good idea, but we'll probably replace that with something a little bit different. Alright, we're good to go.